to the AM Hookah Podcast. We're live in 3, 2, 1.
What is up, Midnight Tokers, Afternoon Hailers, and AM Hookah Smokers? This is the AM Hookah Podcast, your weekly hookah podcast, every Monday at 6:30 Central Standard Time right here on YouTube and over on Twitch. I am the M in the AM, and joined with me is the one true King of the North, Adrian Hunter. How are you doing this week?
I don't understand the reference you just made.
It's Game of Thrones. It's super popular. People know it. People know it. People know it.
Please stop.
People like it. They think of you as the one true King of the North, Adrian. They think of you like that.
Today's show is going to be cool.
It's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
This week, we're going to be joined with Hookah Parties himself, Mr. David Merzian, I think is how you pronounce his last name.
David M. Hookah Parties. Great guy. Don't try to pronounce that last name.
David M. He runs a hookah catering company that supplies hookah to some really cool places. David sadly was not able to be here with us, as you can see from the way that we have our whole thing set up. But we did a live recorded interview with him, and we're going to show that here on the podcast. So we're going to do something that we've never actually done here on the podcast before, Adrian.
Pre-recorded interview.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it works out. And then beyond that, I want to hear from you guys what you think about it, because in the future, with some guests that are very hard for us to align with our timetable and stuff, I would like to try and maybe do this in the future as well. So if you guys like this, then it could be something that we do more often as well, which could be kind of interesting.
Obviously, we prefer to keep the show as live as possible when we can. But because of the 4 different time zones in the States, which is where we operate out of, like my 7:30, someone else's 4:30, they could still be at work. Monday is a work day. Yeah. So this is a workaround we're currently trying to adapt to. So I hope you like it, because I really enjoyed the interview.
Yeah, the interview is fire. We will be showing the interview here very shortly, obviously. It's a full hour interview, so I don't think we're going to have time for our second topic today. So if we do have time, which I don't think we will, we are going to be talking about travel hookah stuff, but I don't think that's going to happen, so we're probably going to bump that to another time, because next week is I'm drinking two actually tonight. I'm drinking some huckleberry cream.
You got to have something to bring her up and a little something to bring her back down.
Okay, I see what you're doing.
And then when you're done with that, you got to have something to bring it all around. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just working to prep myself to be ready for next week. That's all I'm doing right now. I'm going to have to be used to doing this next week, so I better start doing it right now. So I'm going to do everything I can. By the way, our good friend Neve and Ronald over at the Vapor Hookah Lounge, they told me that they're going to be showing this episode at their hookah lounge live as it's happening. So I want to very quickly give a huge shout out to everybody hanging out over at the Vapor Hookah Lounge. You know who you are. You guys are awesome. If you guys don't know about the Vapor Hookah Lounge, it is a hookah lounge that we proudly support. We know that they're good people. They make awesome stuff. Ronald is the amazing creator of the Phoenix HMD. So awesome, and thank you guys so much for showing the podcast over there. If anybody is in the lounge watching it, come and follow us over on AM Hookah over here on YouTube. Subscribe to us so you can know about the other content that we make. But you guys are awesome. Hope you're enjoying your hookahs. I'm sure you guys are.
You?
I am. I'm enjoying it. So,
Matt.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying your hookah?
I'm enjoying my hookah quite a bit. We'll get into what I'm smoking here in a minute. But before we get too far into the show, I want to bring our good friend Bracken onto the line, because we have something very cool. We're going to give away our second alpaca screen bowl. We did the first one last week, obviously. And this week we did a big raffle through our raffle copter, and a lot of people entered. I think there's over 50 people maybe that entered total, which is really cool. And we're going to give that away here in just a minute. But first, we got to call Bracken onto the line. So hold on. Let's get him out of his hidey hole. Bracken! Bracken, can you hear me, Bracken?
Hello. I feel like Will Smith now. Like, there's a lamp and you rub it, and I just pop out of nowhere.
And that's exactly what we pay you to do.
Except I'm not blue. I don't have any, I'm not actually moving. There's just a picture.
You're looking pretty blue today, actually. I know no one can see that, but you do look kind of blue.
You're a little blue.
I should probably quit holding my breath.
Yeah. So we did
Sick
something.
joke.
We did something pretty cool, Bracken, where we were able to give away 2 of these alpaca prototype screen bowls. The first one went to Naphael, and today we're going to do the drawing for the second person. We already did the drawing behind scenes. You were watching me while I did to make sure that it was on the up and everything. And we were able to give that away. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the table over to you, Bracken, and let you announce who the winner is of the second alpaca prototype clay screen, not bowl, but clay screen for their hookah bowl.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages over the ages of the legal smoking age in your area.
18 or 21.
Get
That's
out if
all
you're
that
not.
stays here. Leave if get the fuck out.
You tuned in and you watched. You heard opinions and you saw results. It is now time to announce the winner of the alpaca clay screen.
Prototype.
If you're watching at home, if you're watching from a lounge, rattle your feet, purge your hookahs, and drum roll, please. We have one winner, one individual who has emerged victorious. This is not a free-for-all, and bowls aren't up for grabs. But what is up for grabs is a tangible product, something real, and something you can smoke with.
Not even a whole bowl.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the winner of the second alpaca clay screen
Prototype.
asterisk is none other than the man, the myth, the legend. You see him in the chat. He is a brickhead, an AM smoker, a midnight toker. He is an afternoon inhaler. He is Rose F. Death.
Congratulations.
Rose of Death.
Congratulations.
Can we put it back in the hole?
Winner.
Not yet.
Damn it.
Congratulations, Rose F. Death. I will be contacting you to get all your shipping information from you and stuff. So happy.
Who won the other one?
The other one was Naphael. Naphael won the other one.
Long-time watchers.
Yes.
Love how that plays out.
Super happy about that. I think that's really cool when people that have supported the show for a very long time are able to win on some of these and stuff like that. So that's really cool. I can't wait to hear his opinions because he's a newer smoker. So that's kind of interesting. This is, I don't want to say this is like a expert type of tool or anything, but it is definitely a step above in a lot of ways. So I think it's really cool, and I can't wait to hear what his thoughts are and how he uses it and stuff like that. So we'll get that information from you very, very soon, Rose, and I will get that shipped out to, or we'll have alpaca bowls. So big thank you to Alpaca Bowls, obviously, and Omar as well for
and hold on to these.
Yes.
They're prototypes. If you guys are anything like me and Matt and probably Bracken and everyone we hang out with, these prototype collectible type shit is just, I don't know, you're going to feel really good in a couple months when everyone's got their clay screens and you're like, I had one from the batch before the batch.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Very cool. Bracken, so that's not the only giveaway. That's the only giveaway for today, but we have something pretty exciting happening next week for the Drunkcast. Do you want to go into that just a little bit?
I would love to.
Okay.
I know everybody who is watching right now, listening to the aftercast, listening to the recording, you're bummed. You didn't win. Unless you're Rose of Death, you did win. Congratulations. Don't rub it in. But there's more opportunity. There's more chances. There is more things that you can claim ownership of through a random winning. And we're going to be giving away several items on next week's Drunkcast. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are Matt and Adrian going to be toasted, but we're going to be giving away things that cost you absolutely nothing.
Yes.
I'm actually going to stop with the announcer voice because it might be a little much.
Thank you so much. Oh, man.
But yeah, guys, we are giving away, I think, a grand total of 12 different packages.
15 different packages.
15 different prize packages.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. They're going to be given away on the stream, and they range all the way from something as awesome as some tobacco for your bowl. Maybe it's some threads with the AM Hookah merch. And do you want me to announce that grand prize?
Please do. Please tell them what the grand prize that they have the opportunity to win on next week's show.
So for those of you who don't know, we have lined up the opportunity for you to take home. One of you out there is going to be winning a Mason Onyx Bowl.
Winning. Voucher to buy.
Now, this is not the opportunity to buy one. This is the opportunity to go to your mailbox or your porch or wherever your packages or parcels are delivered and use a knife or some scissors or whatever, your fingernail, and rip the package open carefully and open its contents up. And there will be a Mason Onyx Bowl in that package for you. It's going to be awesome. There are several other really amazing gifts that people have contributed. We'll get into more specifics. I think, unless you want me to do it now, we can give away a few of the things.
Well,
Give away a few of the names.
You can give away a few of the names. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff. We have tobacco that we're going to be giving away. We're going to be giving away
tobacco brands,
merchandise.
Like, Azure.
Yes,
I heard Azure was going to be a part
Zomo.
of
it. This goes without saying, thank you to all the brands that wanted to do this, because a lot of this comes from the generosity of the brands that they're listing right now.
Exactly.
Yep, we're going to be giving away some Nirvana, Super Shisha, some Othmani, some Eclipse, also some Medwa and a Medwa pipe.
Oh, I forgot about that. We have 16 prizes.
Well, those go all together, right?
Well, yeah, we got to arrange those boxes because somebody's going to walk away with some really cool Nirvana stuff, obviously, including a Doha and a Doha pipe, which is really cool. And then we're going to be giving away a handle from Derek Moses, the handles that he's been making, as well as some keychains as well. The prizes are really cool, and I wish we had the ability to do even more of them, but honestly, we had to do a cutoff at some point and say, like, this is all that we can take because we don't have the inventory room to do everything that we want to, but hopefully we'll be able to do more stuff in the future.
We want to make sure it gets shipped out before a couple months pass too.
Yeah, very true. We do want to make sure that we get it in a timely manner. Yes.
Yeah, that's all the stuff we're going to be giving away. It's going to be awesome. And, this is just our way of having fun and giving back to our community. For those of you who have watched us all the way from the beginning of the season or the beginning of the podcast, thank you. Please write it in your calendar now. Be available. Hang out with us. Have fun with us, right? It's probably going to be a little bit longer than an hour and a half, and there's going to be a lot of different opportunities for you to win. So from the beginning of the show to the end of the show, there's going to be a chance for you to win something, and we're really excited for you guys to be there. It's really fun for us. So the more people that turn out, the more we're going to be drinking, and I won't say the more we're going to be giving away, but we're going to be giving away stuff, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, there's going to be ways to win it in the chat, and there's also going to be a lot of call-ins as well, and the call-ins are going to get an opportunity to win it as well. Like, we're going to do all sorts of fun stuff for the last episode of the season. It's super exciting. Definitely mark it down on your calendar. Be ready to be here at 6:30 Central Time when we start the show, because it's going to start off right away. Like, we're going to have a big prize at the very beginning of the show, and then you're going to have an opportunity throughout the entire show to win that Mason Onyx Bowl as well. So just the entire time, it's going to be a fantastic time.
Matt, I know we got to get into our interview, but before I go, it's a bittersweet ending for us for season 3. The Drunk Cast signals the end of season 3, but that means that season 4 is just around the corner.
Yes.
What we want from you guys is we would love to know what you want to hear us talk about, who you want us to talk to, what you want to see us smoking, what you want to see us doing. We are a community-driven podcast. We are make or break with you guys. We have an email. The email is hookahpod@gmail.com. That's our email, hookahpod@gmail.com. Take that email. Send us an email if you have a show idea, if you have a topic idea, if you have a brand, if you represent a brand and you want to be on the show. Come email us, talk to us. We'd love to get to know you. We'd love to build a relationship, and we would love to talk about having you on season 4. All right? Everybody out there, if you have a lounge and you want to show us off in your lounge, let us know. We would love to shout you out on the air. If you have a birthday and you're watching, send us your email. Say, it's my birthday. I'm going to be watching. Anything and everything. Just let us know at that email address so that we can get plugged in with you guys. And as always, we're on Facebook. We have our Facebook group, the AM Hookah Podcast Facebook page. Come be a part of our Facebook community with us. We post polls. We post content. We post pictures. And we have fun. People talk. And it's just a good place for all the things AM Hookah to find a home when we're not on the air. So come join us on the Facebook if you're not already. Hit that like. I don't know do we have questions that they have to answer?
We have a couple. They're very simple. They're just things like, how old are you, and how long you've been smoking hookah, and what's your favorite flavor. They're nothing major. We just need to make sure that you are of legal age to be hanging out in a hookah group.
Adrian, that's your cue for the legal age memo.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on it, but just as everyone at the lounge that's watching, hi guys. I know you're all good because I know how good they are at the door of making sure you're of legal smoking age. If you're watching this podcast and you're thinking to yourself, "Wow, this is really cool. I love smoking hookah," but you're thinking to yourself, "Man, I can't wait till like I'm 18 so I can do this legally." You shouldn't be having that thought right now because you should be of age. And if you're not, please leave. Sometimes it's 21, sometimes it's 18, and hopefully you're smart enough to know what it is in the state you live in.
Yes, be of legal age to enjoy this. Otherwise, you're going to ruin it for everybody else. So don't do that.
Also, I do want to like kind of apologize a little bit for all the shopkeeping earlier this episode. But next time you'll see us, we're going to be plastered. So this is kind of necessary. Like this is, I don't know if you guys caught the last one, but the real prize for the next episode isn't the giveaways. It's going to be what Matt and I get up to.
I was watching a little bit of the last Drunkcast, Adrian, and at some point you pulled out goggles and just put them on your head and just like started to walk around with goggles on your head and stuff. We both pulled out guitars at some point. I was crying at another point.
It was bad.
It was crazy.
Let's not talk about it.
Show up next week. Hit that like button for that because the likes are going to be entirely brought to the shots. Like you get us 10 likes, we take a shot. You get us 20 likes, we take a shot, and we'll be drinking the whole time. It's going to be a fun time. If you were not there for the last time that we did the Drunkcast, go and watch it. It's a pretty fun time. It is a longer podcast in comparison to the other ones, but it is a lot of fun. It is a really, really good time. We'll be taking a lot of calls. Almost the entire episode, we'll be taking calls and stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
If you call as drunk as we are.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
Please.
Right. It's going to be Monday, by the way, so I won't judge you.
All right. Well, we'll be talking to Bracken maybe a little bit later today. We'll find out if we will or not. I don't know. It depends on how much time we got going on. But thank you, Bracken, for stopping by. We appreciate it. Go back to your hidey hole now, okay?
Bye. Thanks for the internet upgrade. It's very nice.
Bye. Okay, Bracken is now out of here. Thank you for stopping by. All right, so hey guys in the chat, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it as always, all you people. Neve, I see you down there. Brandon, Rose F. Death, also obviously the winner. Congratulations. Hookah Fiend is there. Akeem, Justin Young, how are you doing? Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Are you guys smoking? If you're not smoking, will you be smoking later? Let us know what it is that you guys are smoking inside of the chat. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what me and Adrian are smoking. Brought to you by our good friends over at Prestige Bubbles Coconut Charcoal, the proud sponsor of the AM Hookah Podcast, making sure that our hookahs are always nice and hot and smoking well, obviously. But let's go into what we are actually smoking. Adrian, what are you smoking on today's episode?
It's just Tangiers, cane mint, and pink grapefruit. It's really good. It's always really good. Can't see my hookah. It's a white matte pear. It's really good. There's a mini rook on it. It's really good. And I got a provost on it. It's really good. And I got some prestige coconut coal. I've got the cubes on today. They're really good.
It sounds like you're smoking a really good hookah right now.
It's a really good hookah.
That's what it sounds like. I am smoking. What is up, Bilu, by the way? How you doing? My main man, Pots and Pans in the chat. How you doing? Hookah University is smoking some peppermint shake. Hell yeah, always good. Stefan says, I'm smoking at work. Lucky Stefan, smoking at work. What are you smoking at work, though? I am smoking out of my like smoke. You can't see it, obviously, but I am enjoying some Dark Side, some Blueberry Blast, some Admiral Akbard, and also some Bounty Hunter. This mix right here, Adrian, is like, I feel like I'm actually getting diabetes as I'm smoking this. It is so sweet. The entire thing is just absolute candy. It's amazing. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, the dark side flavors are saturated too, so try not to get sick.
I'm trying not to. Brendan in the chat right now is smoking some Zumerit trophy out of his Bambino version 2 with 3 prestige flats in a Provost. Have you seen those Bambino version 2 bowls, Adrian?
They are. I love my Bambino that I have now, but the glaze that they're doing for the second run, they're just gorgeous. They're not single note. And then man, like the dimension changes I think are for the best. I don't have one in my hands yet, but I'm gonna get it as soon as I can.
Neve is smoking some Bermuda Mint because that's a classic and always very good, obviously. Hookah Parties is in the chat as well at the moment. They would like to know if Hookah University is Jeremy or Travis. Who are you, Hookah University? Can you disclose that secret information? Yeah, we got some fun stuff going on. All right, so we don't got any news to talk about, so I kind of think that it's just time to jump directly into the interview. Now, with this interview, it's not live, so we're not going to do any interruptions for like questions and stuff like that. But me and Adrian and Bracken, everyone is going to be hanging out in the chat, so we're going to be talking and doing all that stuff, obviously. But we're just going to let the interview roll as is, and then just kind of take it over from there for the most part. So I guess without further ado, Adrian, are you ready to have our wonderful interview with Hookah Parties, Mr. David M.?
You mean literally a day off? Yeah, let's do it.
Shh, quiet. Nobody needs to know that. Don't break the don't break the fourth wall. Nobody needs to know that, okay? Here we go.
Yeah.
Here goes the interview right now. What's up, everybody? So, as you can tell, things have changed just a little bit. I'm probably wearing the exact same shirt that I was wearing. Adrian, are you wearing the same shirt that you were wearing?
My hair got pulled back somehow, and my beard grew out a bunch. It's
Okay.
unbelievable.
It's amazing.
Past Adrian's different than future Adrian.
we're gonna step away and we're gonna do something we've never done before. I really wanted to have a very special guest on for the episode, but because of time restraints and scheduling, we were worried that it may not work as well as we wanted it to. So for the very first time, we're gonna be doing a pre-recorded interview, and we are joined today by our very special guest, a good friend, David. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce your last name. I always do terrible at last names, so you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit if you could.
David Merzian, and I'm here from Hookah Parties, and we're going to talk hookah and all things related. So
We
I'm gonna
are.
let Matt lead, and I'll follow his lead. Adrian too, of course, but I think Matt. Everyone knows Matt's the MC. So.
Yep.
I try not to talk as much as I used to. I promise. I work on it daily. I try to stop talking as much as I usually do. That way, hopefully, I don't overtake the podcast completely. But yes, so we're gonna go through some interview questions as we normally do, chit chat and stuff like that. And just I don't know. I guess let's go ahead and get into it right away. Let's talk to you and ask you. You know, the main question. I think a lot of people kind of recognize you from like Facebook and stuff like that. They see your posts that you make and things like that. But who exactly are you? Who is David exactly?
Just your typical average Joe, man. I turned the hobby into a business, and yeah, I've just been blessed. Been real fortunate to take this passion and actually. Initially, it was funding my habit, my hobby, and now it's turned into a business where can pay some bills with it. So I've been blessed.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So how long have you been smoking for? How long have you been enjoying this wonderful hobby of hookah?
First started smoking in 2004. I started a new job at the time, and right across the parking lot from where I was working, there was a smoke shop slash liquor store kind of thing going on, and I'd go there for my breaks and get a soda or something to eat or drink. And the guy who was working there was a young Syrian Armenian, and I'm Armenian, so we connected there, and he introduced me to hookah, and I had never seen or smoked hookah before, so it was kind of eye-opening to me. And then I started researching. At that time, AOL chat rooms were in, and people were talking about going to hookah lounges nearby. And so I told him, I said, hey, I heard about this hookah lounge. You want to go check it out? We checked it out, and immediately, I knew that I wanted to be a part of that scene, and actually applied to work at that lounge. And I worked there for about 6 months. And that's kind of really my first, steps into hookah.
Okay. So what was this lounge like? That's I want to. Yeah, exactly. I see Adrian's face already.
Was it like? Tell me about this lounge. I know this isn't in the notes, but was it good?
All right. So LA Hookah Culture has been around for a while.
Okay.
Back in 2004, in the Valley, San Fernando Valley part of LA, which is where I'm at, there were a few lounges up and down Ventura Boulevard, which is like a main boulevard out here. And this lounge opened up. It was a smaller lounge. It didn't have like a parking lot or anything. It was valet parking, or you had to go find parking down the street and walk in. But there was always a line because it was like a popular area. It was something new. But just to give you kind of context as far as like how the lounge was set up and what the vibe was, there was this like awesome kind of energy of young people and, good looking people, they'd come out, guys, girls, everything. And there's just kind of this, like, honestly, it was like this sexual tension, it was ridiculous because it was like a meat market, but at the same time, like you'd have hookah, you'd have good music, and it was cool. It was like a club. But there was no dance floor, really. You know what I mean? It was just the ambiance was kind of weird.
And this was back in 2004?
This is back in 2004. So
this place sounds ahead of its time for hookah, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was, man. And so I don't know how many tables we had. If I had to guess, say maybe like 30 tables.
Oh, jeez.
But the nice thing is, like all the tables would get flipped 2 or 3 times per night. So, you know, if you had, you know, 6 to 8 hour, you know, shift or whatever it was, you'd flip the tables over at least 2, 3 times. So it was always packed. There was a line out the door. And it was just cool. It was cool to be part of that environment. And then, so you had the waitresses were all girls. The hookah staff was all guys. And then everybody just got along. And then you'd have you know, people just come in and, you know, they'd have like $100 tab and then, you know, drop $100 tip to the girls because the waitresses were all just good looking. And it was just like a ridiculously insane vibe. And then as far as the hookahs were concerned, we were using Japanese silver tabs at the time. So we had like a Weber type grill in the back, and then we would just kind of stack the coals like Jenga style, and then you just get the bottoms lit and then just go all the way up. So you don't even really have to kind of stay on top of them. They do their thing, and then you just grab them as you need it. And as far as tobacco, so you had your brands like Nakhla, Lyalina, Alwaha. You know, you didn't have Starbuzz wasn't even out. So that just kind of gives you an idea of like how far back this was.
Yeah, 2004, man. The brands you were looking at back then. I started smoking in 2007, or I guess yeah, it was 2007, and that's when that's all we had in 2007 was just Alfacher, Nakhla, Starbuzz, and Fantasia basically, and then I found out about like Tangiers and all that stuff afterwards. But before that, man, that's crazy. This place sounds like a pretty good way to start. So you said Japanese silver tabs. But did you have to go through the trials and errors of quick lights, like for like your own stuff, or did you ever get into any of that kind of stuff?
Personally, for hookah parties, or
not for hookah parties, but for yourself, like you. So you find this wonderful hobby, you work at this awesome lounge and stuff. But like, did you have to go through the trial of error of like using like quick lights and like a home setup and stuff like that?
Not at all. So initially, and if I dig back here and just some of the old stuff that I have, I'll probably find some bags of it. But there were these natural, lemonwood coals. That's a lot.
Okay, that makes sense.
What we would use for home use, and then there were these finger coals that were round, and sometimes they'd roll off or whatever. That's before Exotica came through and kind of changed it and made it square. But you had the finger coals, you had the lump coals, and quick lights weren't really a thing at that point.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they were, but it wasn't big in the scene out here.
Mm-hmm.
Pharaohs and Three Kings kind of changed that when Three Kings basically, I don't know if you guys know, was designed to light incense in churches and stuff like that.
Yep, Catholic churches and stuff. Yeah.
Right. So when they started using that for hookah charcoal,
Adrian is just like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, no, that's what it was for. So you'd light it up and you'd put the incense on the coal directly, and that's how they would light the incense. And not like incense sticks, that you're used to seeing, but actual like pieces of incense.
Yeah, if you ever smelled the incense you remember the ones that Sahara Smoke used to make? I can't remember the name of what was the name of the Sahara Smoke Quick Light brand that they had for a little while? Oh man,
I'm not sure.
Oh, it's like on the tip of my tongue. But like literally when you light those ones, they have this like almost sweet scent to them, and they were very much reminiscent of the incense in a Catholic church basically. And I always thought that was the craziest thing. That's how I found out the original history of why quick lights became like a thing and stuff. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and they came from Holland, so it was a European thing, and
exactly
it wasn't big here. And then Pharaohs, Pharaohs is remarkable in what they did. They took a lot of what people would now think, lower quality Chinese made stuff, but they made it affordable and they upped the Chinese quality level in ways kind of like Maya did at that time, And again, you got to understand, most of the hookahs at the time were all Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
Syrian hookahs weren't even a thing really at that point. It wasn't big. And then you had your pumpkin type hookahs or gas station type hookahs all in a box.
Yeah.
Right. So literally that was it. So what Pharaohs did is them and Maya kind of came in a few years after that and changed the game. But in our lounge, at the time I was like, pretty much I became the head, hookah guy. I didn't have a title or anything, but I was the one behind the bar most of the time, packing the bowls, or I'd go out and make sure everybody was doing their thing. And it was a good time, man. Honestly, it was like a 6-month run. Um, you know, I got into it a little bit with ownership, and that kind of led, to Hookah Parties starting off. But it was, while we were there, I can honestly say it was probably the funnest lounge. It wasn't maybe the busiest or the biggest or the most expensive, but it was the place you wanted to go if you wanted to mingle with other people, have a good time. They didn't have a kitchen, literally, so like everything that you could order there was microwavable, like hot pockets type shit.
Wow.
And yeah, so it wasn't
Sexual
like
tension with Hot Pockets.
yeah,
Fuck
hey
yeah.
man, as long as it's moist in the middle, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever. Well, speaking of hookah parties, why don't you talk a little bit about hookah parties for anyone who has no fucking clue what that is?
Right. So Hookah Parties is the first hookah catering company in LA, and I don't know, it could be maybe in the country, but I can't validate that. But I know for a fact we were the first in LA, and we started in 05. And I say we because I had a bunch of friends that like kind of helped me, and they came to events with me because I couldn't afford to pay anybody, and
Right.
I couldn't do it by myself. So I have like 20, 30 hookahs, and I have just a bunch of friends show up and help me. And, in exchange, they get to come to clubs and different
Yep.
restaurants and all that stuff for free. Hey, just put on this shirt, whatever, and just come help me out, help me manage the situation. And it started at that lounge I was working at when the owner wasn't there. And a lady came up, and since I was the guy kind of running it at the time, like the hookah side of it, she asked me, she goes, I'm having a wedding, and I'd be interested to have some hookahs at my wedding. What would you guys charge for something like that? And me always being business minded, I kind of just told her, give me a couple minutes, and I was trying to figure out, all right, how much could I charge, and have her agree to, right? So I said, how many hookahs did you want? She goes, I don't know, like 5 or 10. I said, okay, how many hours would you like to have it? She said, oh, maybe like 2 or 3 hours, right? So I'm thinking, okay, what's the cost of having the hookahs out of, the lounge? What's the cost of having employees out there? And then obviously, because it's a wedding, they're going to have a bigger budget, right? So what can I get away with? So I told her, I said, I don't know, but it shouldn't be over $1,000, And she said, oh yeah, that's definitely doable. I said, perfect.
Yeah.
So she walked away. I got her info. And then the owner comes back, later on in the night. And then I talked to him. I pulled him aside. I said, hey, look, here's this wonderful opportunity. I booked you a gig. I told her it's going to be around $1,000. She agreed to it. Here's her name and number. And he got offended. And he said, who are you to be making decisions like that and talking, on our behalf and this and that and the other thing? So ultimately, he didn't like the fact that, I guess he thought that I was
undercutting him in some way or
well,
undermining.
not really undercutting him, because I wasn't going to make the money. It was going to go to him.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. So,
but he didn't like the fact that I guess I was taking it upon myself to have that type of conversation outside of my scope as an employee. So he basically let me go.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
That's a damn shame for him. I mean, that's just good entrepreneurship.
So, long story short, I ended up looking at that opportunity and saying, okay, well, look, there's a demand for this. It might be the first person who's asked for it, but there's got to be other people. So I kind of took a couple weeks and thought of different names. What do I want to call the business and this and that? So I went through a few different, names and logos and what have you. And then at the end, we ended up going with Hookah Parties because I felt like it just made the most sense.
Simple. Tells you exactly what you're doing in the name of the business.
Yeah, I'm going to have a hookah and I'm going to have a party. A hookah party.
You want hookah at your parties? I got you. So, I mean, the other names were like Hookah Time, Hookah Boys, things like that. And I don't want to come off as being like sexist or anything. And even at that time where like people weren't having that conversation, it was a thought where we're like, okay, Hookah Boys might feel like we're leaving people out. Even though it was cool because like the guy, pretty much all the hookah tenders at the time were guys, right? There weren't really a lot of girls doing it. When we started Hookah Parties, I would have my female friends help serve the hookah, take the hookahs out, change the coals. Nobody was doing that. It was an all guy thing at the time. So we brought that kind of sexy edge. we brought, something different. We included women, girls, what have you, and we just started bringing this thing to the masses. And then it started from there, and then all of a sudden, we were doing clubs like 4 nights a week. So it just became a thing where like everybody's like, yeah, I want to have hookah at my clubs. Boom, I got you. So we were doing events all over the place, and at the time you could still smoke in clubs and restaurants, which was awesome for us. It was great exposure. And then now, of course, laws have changed, so they don't want hookahs in clubs or restaurants. And if they do them out here anyway, they do them with the e-heads, which to me is not the direction that I wanted to go. I wanted to keep this thing traditional. So I stopped for a while when we got out of the clubs. I stopped kind of doing that and then focused more on the private parties, which is really where our brand and our model has gone the last several years. And we've just been ramping that up with year over year growth.
Very cool. Going into kind of that, I wanted to ask you, like, I know you serve the main area in which you're at and everything, but like, what's the farthest that you've traveled for this company of yours? What's the farthest way hookah party you have had?
So, not sure if anybody knows kind of the distances between the cities out here, but as far as like Palm Springs, Rancho Mirage area, and then down south all the way to San Diego, think of it as about 2 hours away. And so think about this. Someone's hiring you to come and serve hookahs for 3 to 4 hours, and you got to drive 2 hours each way. So you're doing an 8-hour, shift for 3 to 4 hours of product, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I include that in my price when I tell them, look, I'm going to come out, but I need you to pay me for my 8 hours, and this is my hourly rate. And sure enough, they're like, yeah, we've seen your reviews. You guys look professional. Your website's nice. Your Yelp reviews are awesome, and we can't find anybody else who's comparable locally. So we want you guys to come out.
So do you mainly serve that general area in which you're at there in California and stuff?
Yeah, generally SoCal.
Okay.
We've had a few inquiries, to go. It's funny. I think people just don't spend the time to read, because it's all on our website saying, serving the general SoCal area.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I get calls from Florida. I get calls from New York. I get calls from San Francisco.
Oh yeah, I'll drive all the way out there.
You're gonna have to pay me for the 3 days of travel time. My hourly rate is this.
Yeah, I straight up tell them, look, if you want to fly me out and put me in a hotel, I'm happy to do it. But honestly, you'd be better off maybe hitting up one of your local hookah lounges and seeing if they can do that for you.
Oh no, you got to stop telling him that. You got to just be like, I'm your man. I'm the only person that can do this. I'll be there. You don't worry about it.
On the planet.
Only person
with hookahs to your event.
Yeah, no one else is capable of doing this at all. That'd be pretty fantastic. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah.
I want to know. Okay, so you've been doing this for a long time. It sounds like. Do you have like a story that might be a little off the wall, something crazy that you may have encountered in your years of doing this?
Man, nothing like too crazy. Couple of things that are just maybe like a little bit oddballish. We've had several events where people would put weed in the hookahs without telling us.
No way.
You gotta understand, weed has been not recreationally, but medically legal in California probably since like 96 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
People have had their hands on weed here for a long time, and even before then they'd get it through dealers. So weed has been like a staple in California. Even in the rest of the country, people always look at California, Cali weed, it's like the best whatever, right? I'm not personally into weed. I don't have a problem with other people who smoke weed. A lot of people that I know smoke weed, but it's just not for me.
Right.
That being said, sometimes we get people who ask us up front, hey, can I put weed in the hookah? And I specifically tell them no, right? Okay, yeah. Some of them get the point. Some of them don't ask and put it in there anyway. And then some of them ask like, hey, if I give you $50, can you put this, dime bag worth of weed in there? And I'm thinking to myself, this guy's taking $10 worth of weed, giving me $50, sprinkling it in the bowl and diminishing its effect, so to speak.
Get high first, then smoke hookah.
Whatever, whatever you want to do.
Like, do your thing.
I'm a businessman.
Anywhere that it's not legal to get high, we do not in any way tell you that you should be doing that. Only if it is legal in your state for recreational or medical use. Please medicate responsibly. I feel like I should definitely state that real
Yeah,
quick.
for legal reasons, what I said was a joke.
There, drug abuse resistance education.
Yes, educate.
But yeah, I mean, so you had people do that kind of stuff, and then the funny thing is, like, okay, anybody who's been around weed knows you can smell,
Oh yeah.
when someone's burning it, right? So even with the hookah, like, I know right away which hookah has weed in it. So I'll go right up to him. Excuse me, did you put weed in this hookah? No. I'm like, okay, dude, like, why are you making this harder on yourself, right? So then, honest to God, I make them buy the entire pipe. I go, I can't use this again. The res is gonna stay in there. It's stained now. You own this pipe. And I've had people, because in my contract, when I have people sign, the host, I have them sign specifically saying everyone's of age. I'm not, responsible if anybody burns themselves with a coal or knocks a hookah over and like steps on glass or something, or you're not allowed to put drugs in it. They have to sign off on those three things, right? It's non-negotiable for me. Other people are like, it's just hookah, bro. Like, do I really have to sign a contract? Yes, you have to sign a contract. This is how it works. So when people put weed in there and I go up to the owner and like, hey, sorry, like, you own this hookah now. Sometimes the owners will be like, I didn't put it. I'm not paying for it. And then I got to go to the person that did it and, oh, I don't have cash. Somebody's buying this hookah. I'm not leaving until somebody purchases this hookah. So they figure it out. And then, so that's a little bit awkward sometimes because you don't want to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I didn't do this. You guys did this. So you got to figure it out. And then the other probably craziest party that I had, that I posted the video to the groups a while back, was this party where the guy hired like 12, semi-naked women. And it was just like so ridiculous. Like, you go in there and you're like, keep your head down, keep your head down, keep your head. It's just like, it's like, I don't know where to, like, there's no safe place to look where you don't look like a creep. And I'm like, I'm just here for the hookahs. I'm just here for the hookahs.
It's all safe.
Yeah. But it's fun. It's good times.
That's pretty cool. All right. Well, very cool to hear some stories like that. Moving away from some of the if anybody wants to reach you for hookah parties, is your website just strictly hookahparties.com, or how can they find you online?
Very straightforward. Hookahparties.com. We also have Instagram.com/hookah parties, Facebook.com/hookah parties. So Twitter, its handle is Hookah Parties. It's pretty straightforward, branded across the board.
YouTube, if you're ever in the YouTube chat and you see Hookah Parties come across your screen, This is who it is right here, obviously. I was gonna also say, and don't forget, I mean, he's serving the SoCal area, but if you need a hookah in New York City, as long as you pay for that plane ride in his hotel, he's more than willing to go out there. And you know what?
Pay for the flight. Probably pay for the flight for a few of his buddies too, because can't be a one-man show.
Yeah, he'll need me out there to hang out with him and help him with the hookahs and stuff. So we'll arrange it.
Fly me out.
We'll arrange it later.
Package deal.
Exactly. All right. Well, very cool. Are you going to be coming down to Vegas this year? And what do you think about the Hookah Expo worldwide? I know you were there last year. We talked and we hung out a little bit last year and stuff. But are you going to be there this year? And what are your overall thoughts of what the expo is?
I'm excited to be there, honestly. Last year, I kind of just went into it without a clear-cut plan, and I was hanging out at the Cocoa Earth booth a little bit, helping them out. Then Mike from Oasis decided he wanted to enter the hookah battle, and then I joined his team because I'm buddies with him, and then he just disappeared because he was like doing the Alpha Khamma boot or whatever he was doing. So I ended up representing Team Oasis or whatever it was called. And then there was nobody around. Dom was there, Mike was there, and then they were both gone. And I was like, okay. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun time. I did get to meet a couple people that I had not met in person. I was in Vegas the first year of the expo, but I did not attend. I happened to be there for the Lakers Summer League, and I was catching all the basketball games and stuff like that. But I was at Oasis every night of the expo weekend. So I caught a lot of people there, but did not attend. From what I heard, the second year was bigger than the first. Yeah. And from what I'm hearing, this year is bigger than the second. My initial reaction to walking into the expo for the second year was, it was maybe not as grand as some of the other um, expo type things that I've been to in the past.
Yeah,
I expected, bigger, because I've been to Vegas for different conventions and they've just been huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it, just like physical footprint wise, it wasn't big. But never being to a hookah type show, I didn't know that it's still not as big of a community as we're trying to build it up to be. So that being said, I was impressed with what they did with the limited size, right?
Mhm.
A lot of great vendors. Azure, one of my favorite brands, was there. Regal was there. Phoenix was there. You had Alfahama, Fumari, Al-Fakhr. A lot
There
of
was a
great
lot of
Coco.
people there last year. I mean, there really was a ton of. It was a small footprint on the overall standing and stuff, but they
Right.
squeezed a lot of different brands and a lot of
They
different people
did.
there. And it felt the thing that when I first walked in, because I've been smoking hookah for 10 years, but I've never dreamed of going to an expo, honestly. It was never something that I had really crossed my mind. So walking through the front doors, the very first thing I thought was this is amazing. And then after 30 minutes of walking the loop, basically, I was like, well, that's not quite as big as I thought it was going to be. But then
That's the exact same reaction I had.
But then you can go and talk to so many people. You can talk to Azor. You can talk to the guys from Sherbetli. You can talk to the guys. You can talk to John. He's right there. You can talk to people from Mia. You can talk to people from Al-Fakhr. The one thing that was cool about it, besides the fact that it was a hookah expo, in my opinion, was that you could actually talk to people from these brands and I don't know, communicate in that way. And that it in itself I thought was really cool.
And we're a little bit spoiled too here in SoCal, because you have to understand a lot of these guys are out here, right? George Johnson's in San Diego, Raphael's in Temecula and San Diego, Phoenix and Vapor are in Temecula as well. Arby and the Atmospheres in Glendale. So, a lot of these guys who are, heavy hitters in the business, they're out here. And, not to mention Tangier's also obviously, started in San Diego. Now they're in Arizona. But again, a lot of hookah culture for the country really developed and took off in SoCal. Mm-hmm. So we've been spoiled in that regard. So it's not uncommon for me to go to Atmosphere and hang out, and I'm sitting with George from Coco, George from Regal, RB from Atmosphere, Ron and Neve from Vapor and Phoenix. And, you have all the Alex from 5 Star. You have all these guys sitting at one table, right? But then you go to the expo and they're celebrities for the hookah culture, right? People are talking to them hey, what's up, taking pictures, this and that, and you know what I mean? So we've been spoiled in that sense, and I'm lucky to call a lot of those guys friends of mine. Mm-hmm. So I mean, in that regard, it wasn't a aha type of moment. Even Hookah John is in Tustin, he's in Orange County, so it's not that far from here. We're talking about an hour maybe, right? Mm-hmm. So that being said, again, expectations, I didn't know what to expect, but when I walked in, I was like, oh, it seems kind of small, but then there's a lot of stuff to stop and talk and, try different things that maybe I didn't have quite as much exposure to, like Alfakama, Sherbetli, certain brands that I wasn't really, maybe I didn't care for them enough, or I hadn't tried them, so I hadn't formed an opinion. Mm-hmm. But this year, with what John's posted so far about some of these brands coming, Tangier's also representing. It's going to be very exciting because you got a lot of new names, you got a lot of returning names, and then you've got some big heavy hitters that haven't been Tangier's has never been part of any kind of expo.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I think just having Tangier's there is going to be really cool, obviously this year, and there's a lot of it's nice to see. I think this is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be double the size. I know that they increased the actual the space of the convention center compared to last year and stuff. So that's cool. And then seeing, I don't know, having new brands that are coming out too, like Eternal Smoke, I think is really exciting. It's a good place for them to kind of show off their stuff. And that's the one thing about the expo, right? You look at kind of the other industries around the world and stuff like that, and the way they use WWDC for iPhones and stuff like that when they announce new products and stuff. We have, in my opinion, in the U.S., this really cool place to allow all the focus for a weekend, right? To just go there and hyper-focus on whatever is about to happen, and then everybody can find out this sort of information. I think that's really cool. I hope that it continues to grow. I hope that it continues to allow the community and the hobby that we have to grow as well, because that's the important part too. Eventually, we need more than us 5,000 very dedicated smokers to get, to keep on doing this enthusiast type thing. I'd like to see more and more enthusiasts get created, and if they come down to the expo, that's super cool in my opinion.
Oh, instant conversion. You get I think if you get like someone who's just into hookah and they do it recreationally and don't really they're not super into it.
Mhm.
I think a weekend at the expo is the ticket to getting them to be one of us.
Whoa! What's all this? Wow!
I think 2 names I forgot to mention that are very big part of the hookah community, especially in the States. Hookah John and Omar from Alpaca.
Oh yeah.
Those guys, like Omar's bowl, Alpaca bowls, if you don't have one, it should be like a standard in every hookah household. Hookah John bowls as well. I know some people like them, some people whatever. The 80-foot bowl I think is amazing. I'm not big on HMD bowls and like lip bowls and stuff like that, and I know he's got some bowls for that. I personally don't own an original alien funnel, but I've heard they're amazing.
Would recommend if you're a Tang smoker.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would love to. I don't personally own one. If anyone wants to sell one, I would love to buy one. But that being said, like those 2 guys, like John, until this day, he's still innovating and making stuff, right? He's out with all kinds of different products, and he's got one of the biggest web presences as far as a retail store is concerned. So he puts out a bunch of product, some his, some not his. And then, Omar over at Alpaca, this new clay screen that you guys just had on your last show, right? Game changer, I think.
I'm enjoying it.
His bowls are phenomenal.
Yeah.
But the fact that we still have a lot of great American companies that are already established but still continuing to innovate, it bodes for a lot of hope for the future, because you have these guys, I mean, right, they could just sit back and say, look, I'm just going to sell the stuff that I have because it's already popular, right? But they keep pushing, and like even with the Phoenix, right, American made, when you're looking at the Lotus and all these other brands that are coming in that they've kind of put their footprint on the business, they're saying, no, we're going to improve, right? And they're taking the efforts to do that. And yeah, you hear people, Stone Bowls, Mason, all these guys, right? A lot of people bitch about the price points and this and that, but you have to understand labor is expensive here, right? There's a cost, that you got to pay for materials. There's a cost for labor. And it's not, Chinese stuff, coming in and being marked up 2-3x. And,
And it's funny because, we talk about, the luxury end of products, especially bowls and stuff. And it's not like if you don't have the cash to drop on a $60 Mason bowl or, $180 whatever relics or stone bowl, the $20 bowls that we have from Hookah John and Alpaca are they perform among the best bowls on the market. So
I agree wholeheartedly. Like my go-to bowl, I prefer blonde leaf over dark leaf. But I still smoke dark leaf occasionally. But my go-to bowl for blonde leaf is the Goodfella bowl, through 5 Star and Alpaca. And then my go-to for dark leaf is the Predator or the Suri, And so all of those bowls are made by Alpaca. And then occasionally I'll smoke a mini fudge or a mini rook or whatever they're called now. But, Apache mediums, I have them in rotation once in a while. But, all these bowls are Alpaca bowls. I'll throw in my 80-feet bowls sometimes. Another, Hookah John bowl. But there's enough bowls out there, sub $20.
Oh, yeah.
For you to still have a great session.
Yeah.
And not worry about the price point. You don't have to pay, $80 for a stone or a Mason or what have you.
Exactly.
So that
nothing wrong with that. It's just, you got to understand, like, you go to a steakhouse, you can get a New York steak or you can get a filet mignon. It's what do you want to spend? What do you enjoy?
Yeah.
Right?
You're gonna have a good meal
with having a premium item and then a par item that still performs really great.
I'm glad you said Surrey because I'm smoking some KFC out of my Surrey right now. So I was like, yes.
I'm smoking out of my Goodfella right now.
Oh man, I've not loaded a hookah at the moment while we were doing this interview, and all I've been doing is craving it as watching you guys smoke, obviously. But I like that you bring up the difference in the.
I got my Goodfella pre-packed right now for round 2.
Oh man, good
With
idea.
Adrian's favorite brand. Can you say Azure one time?
Azure.
No, Azure.
Azure.
There you go.
This was the only way we got David to come onto the show. I was like, hey man, would you like to be a part of it? He's like, only way I'll do it is if Adrian will talk about Azure a little bit so I can hear him say it. That's all. That's what he said.
Thinker. That the whole reason I've been saying it that way is to set this up. So
Yeah, we've been working on this for a while. It's just, yeah, exactly. All mind game.
Long game.
Anyways, so I like the fact that you talk about the two different kind of styles of bowls, right? We have the bougie, we have the Beaujolais, we have whatever however you want to pronounce it. We have the expensive stuff, the premium things, and then we have the very highly, made regular style bowls, things that are obviously a step above a Egyptian and stuff. And I'm going to try and transition this. I'm going to do my best. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Here's one of my wild transitions that I'm going to try to do. I want to move over to the Facebook realm of things and try to ask your opinion of kind of the navigation of hookah on Facebook. And I say that because we obviously have the enthusiasts. We have the people. Me and Adrian are literally doing a fucking podcast about hookah. Like, we take this shit maybe a little too seriously than we should. But then we got people that are just like chill, right? They just want to hang out. They want to post their setup every once in a while. Like, what are your thoughts of like how hookah is used on Facebook? And then also kind of like, I don't know, just how you see hookah on the social platform in the future, maybe a little bit.
Great question. And to be honest, I've only been probably a part of these, groups, forums, what have you, on Facebook only. I've never been part of like Royal Hookah Forum or whatever existed pre-Facebook.
HookahPro.com.
All that stuff, right? Never been a part of it. And I've only been part of these Facebook groups for maybe about 2 years, right? So all of this was new to me. And I didn't know Alpaca, I didn't know Hookah John, I didn't know any of this stuff, right? I was happy with my Syrian bowls, Egyptian bowls, other stuff that I had. And then when I came into the groups, I learned so much about enthusiast type products, right? Because to me, going to like local shops where they sell stuff or going to wholesalers, and getting access to stuff, they didn't have Tangiers. They didn't have Azure or Trifecta or any of these other brands. Wholesalers don't usually carry that stuff. They just want what sells and what moves, which is pretty much Starbuzz, Al Fakhr, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So finding out that there's a 5-star that's only, 15 minutes away from me, that's like a kid in the candy store experience for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, so it really, like, I was living kind of with a blindfold over my eyes for so long, but I was perfectly content with what I had. I posted a picture the other day, and you saw it was like these mod bowls made out of ceramic with,
the metal screens
on top
with the hood.
And I was using quick lights.
The original stone oven, basically.
And I was using quick lights, and I was perfectly happy with my sessions, and I'm going to be honest, like, I was perfectly happy with my session. I didn't know better, right?
Yeah.
But I was still happy, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm using quick light. No, it was none of that shit. Like, I would sell boxes of quick lights to customers and friends and whatever, swearing up and down that this was the most convenient, best priced option, because there wasn't much better. Like Coconara, it was Coconara and that. You take your pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you want something quick, or you want to find a stove that you've got to light this up on and wait 10 minutes, or you light it up and you're good to go in a minute.
Oh man, I was the hardest person to I'll admit this straight out. Like, when I first I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna admit it. When I first found out that, like, I could do this thing on the stove, or I could just use my lighter, I was like, nah, man, this lighter one is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with this at all. And for the longest time, man, like, why would I bother with the stove if I can use a lighter? And then finally, like, I was like, man, why do I keep getting fucking headaches every time I smoke hookah?
I think a lot of it's a lot of people. There is convenience there, and that conversion can be hard to make. And sometimes even I'm like, man, I gotta wait 8 minutes for these coals, But it is what it is.
Have you ever had a guest walk away to flip their coals?
Never ever. Okay, you can.
Right. I mean, not flip them, grab them.
Grab some fresh coals. That's the magic of editing. Now I can just edit all this part out. They won't even matter.
So I can just start saying some absurd shit right now.
Say the worst shit, and I'm gonna cut it all out, or will I?
Man.
Or will I? I'm leaving that shit in. That's for sure.
At the end of the day, I had nothing to hide, because I've done the bougie end, so to speak, and I've done the dirt end of it, and I've been happy with perfectly, with both types. And there's people who talk shit, and they really shouldn't. And well, we can get into that more if you want. I don't give a fuck.
If you go from like not smoking hookah to like smoking hookah at a lounge, and then you buy your first hookah and have quick lights with no point of reference, it is great. I remember having great experiences with quick lights because there was no point of reference.
Yep.
And
you
I
gotta
don't.
understand that 90+% of lounge hookah is shit.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand that. They think like, oh, if I'm gonna go to a lounge, I'm gonna get a great experience. Nope.
I went
Yep.
to a lounge in Salt Lake City, and I was so blown away because all they had was just they had coconut coal, so that was cool, and they had Alfacher, so that's what I had, and I sat there and I smoked for an hour, 15 hour and a half basically, and in the time that I was there was like 3 other groups that showed up, took like maybe 50 puffs off their hookah, and then they were done. They showed up, smoked for 15, 20 minutes, and they were like, I guess that's all I do, right? And then they left. It was the weirdest fucking thing.
That's so strange to me.
Right?
You have to understand that this is, and we can get back into hookah parties a little bit with this too. Your average smoker is not an enthusiast. We're fucking spoiled.
Agreed
Absolutely.
completely.
Like, we want more. We expect more. You're 90% of the smokers out there are not enthusiasts. What they want is,
Clouds.
I want to try this novelty. I want to take a few pictures doing it. I'm going to post it on Instagram or whatever. And that's it. They're not there like, oh, this cherry doesn't taste like cherry, or this whatever doesn't taste like. No, they're like, oh, this is so cool. I kid you not. I could tell somebody this is fucking strawberry and it's blueberry, and they wouldn't know the fucking difference. And like, oh, wow, it tastes amazing.
Yeah.
And I've done it a few times. Like, when we're out of flavors, like, straight up, like, we're being honest. Like, I'm the most real person you'll ever meet, and I don't have anything to hide behind, because guess what? At the end of the day, I'm not going to get butthurt over what people that I don't fucking know in real life think of me. That's straight
Those are
up.
words to live by.
Yeah, I agree. I completely
Straight
agree.
up. Like, guess what? You're not paying my mortgage. You're not paying for my kid's school. You're very, very, very inconsequential to me. Like, it's not happening.
Okay.
But,
Go ahead. Okay, so I was just gonna say, like, moving in from that about like the enthusiasts and the recreational and the people that are just doing it for novelty reasons and stuff
are we
like that.
recording again? Because I'm lost.
Yeah, we're recording. We're recording.
I've been recording the whole time.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just
fuck yeah.
gonna.
Yeah,
The only
if I
part
don't
I'm gonna.
know you, if I don't know you, I don't give a fuck. I'll say it again.
Only
Sweet.
part I'm gonna cut out. No one will know what was talked about while you were flipping coals. That's the only part that got cut out. But still, I'm curious about that because you deal with so many people that are both like I'm sure you deal with some people that come up and they're like, oh man, I love hookah, I have my own hookah, stuff like that. But then you deal with the absolute. Somebody that's a company party, right? You're catering a company party. There has to be someone like, what is this thing? Like, how do you convince the person that is like almost not afraid, or they're caught off guard by this hookah thing? How do you talk to that type of person and kind of like help them understand what it is that this hookah thing is?
So it all depends on who my client base is, right?
Mhm.
So if my client base is a little bit more mature, and when I say mature, I'm talking like 35 plus.
Mhm.
They're more sophisticated. A lot of my client base, you have to understand that, like, they're CEOs, they're attorneys, they're doctors, they're established. Nobody's paying me to come out and do hookahs for them if they don't have money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not your average Joe hiring me to come, to their house and bring like 10 hookahs and then pay me several hundreds of dollars for my time because that's what they want to do. No, those guys are going to get a couple rigs. They're going to share it between them. They're going to be happy. But my clients are a little bit more sophisticated. They want the oohs and ahs, and they want to impress their friends. Really, most of them don't even smoke personally. It's more for their friends to be like, I had this at my party, and
Okay.
But, do you see what Kevin did at his party? He had this guy come out with hookahs and shit. Like, It was bananas. So when I take hookahs, you have to understand that like 90+% of people out there that smoke hookahs, they're not enthusiasts. They can't tell the difference between Coconara and Coco Earth. They can't tell the difference between Alfajir and Starbuzz and Fumari and anything else.
Mhm.
They just want something flavorful, right? Now you give them something to smoke, and they're like, how do I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Do I inhale? And I'm like, yeah, just suck on it. Straight up. Just suck on it.
That's all you can do. That's all you can say. That's literally.
I swear to God.
it's
I go just, and the thing is, look, for me, hookah has always had this weird sexual tension associated with it, and I will fucking
This is the
play that
sexiest
card. I don't
episode
care.
we've had so far. By far, this is the sexiest episode.
HookahParties.com. Putting the sexy back in hookah.
All
Anyway,
right.
so I always try to play off that, and you'll see like guys with their girls or whatever, and the girl's always asking, so how do I do this? And I'm like, just suck on it. And then the guy smirks, and then the girl smirks, and then It's just fucking hilarious. So then I go, do I keep it in or do I blow it out? I go, it's up to you. Do you normally keep it in or do you normally spit it out? I'm like, blow it out.
I've been going at this the wrong fucking way. Passed up a lot of opportunities, apparently.
Adrian, it's easy, man. Come out to LA, man. I'll show you a good time. The lifestyle is different a little bit out here. So, but you got to play off of that, and they love it. They really do. And it's not like, it doesn't piss people off. They just have fun with it. I have fun with it. And I make sure everyone has a good time. But at the end of the day, they're not enthusiasts. You know, they're not advanced level smokers. They just want to have a good time. So if they say, what's your favorite flavor? I throw it back at them. I go, what's your favorite dish to eat? You know, it's like some people like lasagna. Some people like pizza. Some people like a steak. I can't tell you what's my favorite flavor. Like, what are you going to like? What's the best flavor, they ask me. What's the best? Well, what do you like? What do you like? Do you like blueberries? Do you like strawberry? Do you like, kiwi? Like, what do you like? So then I'm like, I don't know. I go, how about this? Do you like fruity or do you like minty? Like fruity. I go, okay, cool. I got you. Right? Boom. A little bit of ambrosia, a little bit of orange, whatever. Maybe some white gummy bear. Boom. They're happy. Oh, what am I smoking? I go, it's a fruit cocktail. Straight up. Like, they don't need to know exactly what it is, but their mind is blown every time. They're like, wow, this is so smooth. The flavors are so intense and this and that. And then they smoke for 10 minutes and they go grab some drinks and go dancing and that's it. Right? And then somebody else comes and then they're smoking the same bowl. What's in there? At this point, I forgot what I packed in that bowl. I got fruit cocktail. I fucking love it. So it's just straight up. Then occasionally you get the enthusiast that walks up and they're like, oh, what brands are you serving? And then I know.
That's got to be a treat, right? You probably love that.
Yeah, I love it. They're like, oh, I'm like, okay, cool. I got some Fumari. I've got some Alfaka. I got a little bit of Azure down here I can bring out if you want. They're like, oh, what's that? And they, even the ones that are more sophisticated, don't even know what Azure and Trifecta and Tangiers are.
Yeah.
They just know that there's a brand called. So this is the level of experience that most of the customers have, right? So Fumari on the bag, their catchphrase is strikingly fresh. Okay. I've had people come up to me like, do you have any strikingly fresh tobacco? I get a kick out of it. I mean, they think the brand is called strikingly fresh. Right. So that's what it is. I mean, people try to make a big deal out of hookah and it's really not. It's very simple. Like John says, just throw it in there. Right. 90% of the people are going to be okay with just throwing it in there because they don't know better. Their sessions aren't going to last more than an hour anyway. Right. They're just occasionally smoking. It's fine. For a long time, we were serving quick lights when we were doing parties because in the beginning, I used to use propane tanks, like a little bit like this big with the Coleman type burners with the 2 burners. I was doing natural coals. I was doing the finger coals. I was doing all that. When quick lights kind of started getting popular, I was like, wait, I don't have to carry all this shit with me. And you have to understand we're mobile, right? So less weight, more convenience, in and out. I carry a box this big. I got 10 rolls of coal that last me the whole night. I'm good. You know what I mean? Yeah. People are smoking. They're enjoying themselves. I never went into the business to be like a connoisseur to the enthusiast. Yes. Because guess what? If you do that, you're going to be very limited in who you reach.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, you just meet so few enthusiasts. Like I would imagine. I mean, I don't know. Can you give a good number out of this year, 2019? We're halfway through the year. How many enthusiasts would you say that you've talked to or dealt with in general for the hookah parties that you've thrown?
Events I've catered to?
Yeah, the events that you cater to. Exactly. Why would you serve to a clientele that doesn't even exist?
So fucking awesome about it, right? Because this is a hobby that has a super high ceiling, but the fucking barrier to entry is 0.
Yeah.
Just hop in.
Let me ask you a question, okay? Do you guys consider yourselves enthusiasts?
Yeah, I would think so.
I think so. We have a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. When was the last time you paid someone to come bring hookahs to one of your parties or to your house and service it for you?
I was actually going to make that point. Like, I would never think to do that. I don't know anyone that's going to do it better than me.
You do it yourself, right? Because you got your own preference, your own taste. Why are you going to bring someone else in and you can do this shit yourself? And guess what? If you got 5-10 buddies coming,
bust out 5 to 10 hookahs.
They're going to show up with 5 to 10 hookahs, and you guys are going to mix and match stuff and like, hey, you try this, I'll try this. Yep. Here, have some of mine. Let me have some of yours. The enthusiast is not going to hire someone to come over.
Dude, half the time when I go to a lounge, I pack my own bowl. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's
My
a,
point
that's a
exactly, man.
That's a great way to put it. Honestly, it is. Like it's such an interesting you are running a very, very interesting business. I remember the first time that I heard about it and stuff, I was like, that's so cool. Like I would, my area would never be able to handle that. I may be like one of 10 people that smoke hookah, and I'm one of the 10 that is like an enthusiast, right? Like there's just not enough of that in this area and stuff. I even, for a very short time, I ran a hookah lounge here in this very small town that I live in for 2 years, and
Nice.
that was a crazy experience because even at that time, in the very beginning, this was 9 years ago at this point, I was still so new to this thing. I just knew that I loved it, right? Like it's kind of like when you were talking about you went to this lounge and then you found out that night you're like, man, I want to work here, Like I smoked hookah, I went back home and I was like, hey, to my wife, I was like, we're going to go open up this hookah lounge thing. Like I didn't know everything about it and I wasn't a master, but I knew that I liked it so much that it's like, man, I want to like do this. This seems like a really cool thing to do.
So going back to that hookah lounge when I wanted to work there, the whole sexual tension thing and everything, I swear, it was a vibe. It was a thing, man. It was like its own personality. The lounge had its own personality. You could have two people meet outside that would never talk to each other, but those same two people meet in that lounge, and all of a sudden there's this thing, and you can't explain what the hell's going on. It got to the point where like girls would intentionally fuck up their bowls so we could come service the bowls just to like talk to us, like put the coals in the middle, and like you were just there 2 minutes ago telling them don't put the coals in the middle, and then somehow the coals end up in the fucking middle. It's harsh. And then you got to come over there. It's a whole thing, right? So yeah, lounge culture is different than smoking in your home culture than other things. I mean, yeah, you go to some lounges and there's girls wearing like short skirts, and they're the ones out serving and doing all the hookah stuff, and then they're going to market it that way. And to each their own, man. If you want to go for that vibe, totally fine. I'm personally not going to go to a lounge and pay money for a hookah that I know is going to be substandard. Yeah. There are lounges that I support and go to, right? Yeah. Like Atmosphere is one of them. Vapor, Oasis in Vegas, right? Yeah. And there's a few other lounges too that I'm lucky enough to say, okay, these people are friends of mine. It might be a little bit out of the way, but I'll go occasionally and support them, right? But those are like the two that I probably will frequent the most. In LA will be Atmosphere because they got a full-on kitchen. It's amazing. And for me, if I'm going to a lounge, 9 times out of 10, I'm going for the people that I'm going to be with rather than the hookah itself, because I can make a hookah that's going to be amazing for my taste at home. I don't need to go out to have a good session. But if I go, it's for the people, not the environment.
It's funny, as I've gotten more and more into hookah and stuff like that, and I love setting my home up and doing all the things that I do here and stuff. I do wish that I had a lounge that I could go to and not. It's kind of like if I cook a steak at home, my steak is going to be delicious, but I will still go out to a restaurant and eat a steak, obviously, and be fine with it. Like I want the ability to go out, smoke a hookah, and not need to worry about cleanup, not need to worry about packing, not need to worry about any of that stuff for just one session with a group of people, right? I don't have that sad
social, right? Because that's kind of why there's no good place to do this around me. And that's kind of, I think that's why we ended up doing this, because now we can just smoke a good hookah and still talk to people.
Exactly. Yeah, we're
and
so
honestly, like if you think about all the lounges that are out there, Oasis is the one that probably will have the most number of people from the groups visit it because of where it is, because of the expo, because of other things that go on. And think about like a tourist attraction, right? Vegas has got to be one of the top tourist attractions in the country. Chances are everybody in the forums has been to Vegas at least once, right? Not for the hookah experience, just to be in Vegas. But hey, guess what? We've got Oasis too now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, it's funny that you put it that way. When I was in New York City, because I don't know about the hookah culture nearly as much in New York City, but like the thing that I had to do in New York was go to Times Square. I had to go to the Nintendo store down there. Like, those are the places that, like, when I went, I had to go to those places. And when I went to Vegas, like, even if it wasn't for the expo at the time, if I had just gone to Vegas, I have to go to Oasis. Like, I have to. Like, that's a place that I have to go and stop to. It's a really good comparison. It has become a tourist.
The good thing is those guys actually know what they're doing, because it could be there's a bunch of lounges in Vegas, and they have been, like I said, in LA, in SoCal, it started, like I said, 04, and probably a couple years prior to that there were already some lounges, but Vegas also had lounges at that time. And Paymon's is one that sticks out to me. Those guys would come over to you with a box and have like samples, and be like, oh, smell it, and then like you get to choose one or whatever. And I thought that was cool and that was different the way they were approaching it. But then they would bring quick lights, and then if you wanted more coals, you would have to pay for the coals, which I thought was like, okay,
Yeah.
I know what a box of coals cost, and I know how much each roll costs. Then I know how much each coal costs. This is stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had food, they had ambiance. The decor was out of this world. It looked like you stepped into the Middle East somewhere. Just beautiful, right? But then that experience in and of itself killed it for me. So for a long time, I didn't visit any lounges. And then when I heard about Oasis, and I happened to know, one of the guys who was a partner there, I visited and I was like, okay, you guys did it right. Just coming from someone who's in the business, you guys did it right. And then I supported them 100%. And I was one of the first people to advocate for them when people probably didn't even know who I was during the first expo. And they're like, oh, where can we go hang out? And I was like, oh, guys, by the way, Oasis After Party, go check it out. And they're like, oh, cool. We've never heard of this Oasis. Let's go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, all it took was one time, and that place blew up because of social media. And now everybody that, if you notice in the forums, like, hey, I'm going to be visiting Vegas June 6th weekend. Where should I go smoke?
Oasis.
99% Oasis, 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 Oasis. So the advocacy works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
But
absolutely.
this is what's changed with the lounge culture is social media within the enthusiasts. Now when you want to go smoke, you can ask people, hey, I'm going to be in this town. Where should I go smoke? And you see people doing it with Arizona, St. Louis, like a couple other places I'm going to be visiting. Where should I go smoke? You've got your enthusiasts dropping names because they know. I think that's the best thing that we've got with this tech now that we didn't have 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You'd ask your cab driver, hey, I'm in New York. Where I want to go for hookah. Where do I go? They'll take you to some, place, and then it's like shit. But it's like, at least it's hookah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I know that our viewers may not know this, but some people are in this room at one point thought that this interview would only last like 10 minutes. I don't know why they thought that, but that's what they said. But
I said 20. You fucking.
we could go talking with you, I feel like, for the entire episode, and I would love to have you come back for season 4 at some point and have more conversations, especially related to this stuff.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do that, and we'll figure out a good time frame to make it work.
I'll
and
leave
everything.
it up to the viewers. If they want me back, I'll come back.
I guarantee it. You guys in the chat right now, you let David, you let Hookah Parties know that you want to see him come back sometime next season, and we will definitely have that happen because
Just because this isn't live doesn't mean Matt and I aren't like on our computers watching this. So.
Yeah, we're in the chat room right now. I'm typing to you right now, guys. Everything I'm just typing.
I'm seriously looking forward to hanging with both of you guys. I don't think I've ever actually sat down, you know what I mean, and hung out with you guys. And from what I've seen, what you guys bring to this industry, I think you guys are doing amazing work. I'm a big fan. You keep it entertaining, and then you bring information to it in bits and pieces as well. So it's not just, for laughs, or it's not just full on boring information. You guys do a well mix, together. And I think you got the yin and yang thing going perfectly. So I'm a big fan. I'm honored to be here. And anytime you guys want me on, 100%, you can count on me.
Well,
man, thank you.
If we have the humor sometimes, the education every now and then, when we have you on, we definitely have the sexy. So if we ever
Trifecta, not the brand.
not
What's up?
trifecta, but not the brand, just the 3.
Hey, just suck it. Just suck it.
All right, that will have to do it for the end of this interview. Once again, honestly, David, it's an absolute pleasure and awesome to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We're gonna continue with the show. We're gonna magically transition back to not having to the live version of this, and we're gonna continue our conversations and stuff. But before we leave you, before this ends, I want to know, where can people find you directly, either to try to get some catering done, or if they just want to follow you on your adventure of this hookah parties that you have going on.
So hookahparties.com is for the website, booking info, all that. You can contact me through there. Facebook.com/hookah parties, Instagram.com/hookah parties. In the forums online, it's or do we call them forums? In the groups online, David Merzian, Merzian. And then if you have any questions, I mean, one of the things that is kind of cool is I've had a lot of people over the past few years since I've been in the groups ask me like, how do I get started doing this, right? And I've talked to people in Philadelphia, in NorCal, in Florida, um, God, all over the place. Pretty much hit me up and asked me like, hey, how do I do this? You know, what's the best strategy? What should I focus on? And there's a lot of people that are haters. When they get a little bit of success, they don't want to see other people succeed. I'm not one of those people. I feel like there's enough for everybody, right? And when we come up, we got to bring other people up too. So it doesn't take anything away from me. Guess what? If you're doing catering in South Florida, it doesn't do anything to me, right? I'm happy to help you out, because the more advocates we have for this business and the stronger, well-knit, tight community we are, we can prevent stuff happening like we just did recently in California, which, again, the battle's not over. We're going to keep fighting, right? But shout out to George and Arnie over in the Hookah Chamber. They did their thing. I'm happy to help in a small part of that, but it's just, we need to band together. Enough with this bullshit. People having all these stupid beefs. Like, we're so small as it is. Let's just join up. Let's fight everything together. Let's help each other succeed, elevate the industry and the standard, and then come together, because guess what? We label ourselves a community, but you're not a true community if you're not looking out for each other. So I, for one, will always advocate for that. For the most part, you don't see me shit talk online when you see me post or comment or anything. I really just mind to myself, and if someone's out of line, I do have the ability to check them, but it's not always my place, right? Unless someone comes, not correct to me, I'm not, afraid by any means, online or otherwise, but I'll check them, right? But at the end of the day, this is not about being a bully or flaunting your stuff online. No.
Agreed.
You guys are two of the most calm, cool, collected cats I've seen online, and everyone should have that sort of temperament, right? Build it up instead of trying to break it down. Squash the shit. Let's get together. I want to see everybody sit together at the expo and have a good time. I'm really, really looking forward to this year's expo. I think there's a lot of potential. I think that having the opportunity to sit down this year and not really try to kind of look to different parts of, the brands that are going to be out there this year. Personally, I'm going to be there to interact with the people. I think I'm more excited about meeting and hanging out with different people and exchanging ideas and tips and tricks and pros and cons of different products and whatnot, and hanging out. And there's a lot of unsung people in this industry too that are true enthusiasts. They spend their hard-earned dollars on stuff. They're not affiliated with any brand, like Paul Salau, one of the guys,
all those guys,
Matt and Christine.
Yes.
Like some of these guys, they're spending their hard-earned dollars on products. They're not bashing anybody. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But they're always out there. They're buying stuff. They're trying stuff, and they're just like good, kind of salt of the earth people, right? You never see them really shit talking, at least in public. I don't know about their private life. I can't speak on that. But in public, fucking class acts. Another person like that, Jack. Jack over at Oasis. This guy probably has a more diverse collection of pipes than anybody I know in the States. I've never seen him shit talk on someone unless they deserved it. And even then, I don't think I've seen it publicly. Privately, behind closed doors, whatever, that's a different story. But that's how people need to be at the end of the day. Like, if they don't wrong you personally, who the fuck are you to chime in on somebody else's beef?
Right.
Yes, agreed.
Right?
Very often
back in the day, like, how were we raised?
Yeah.
I'm an older guy. I don't know how old everybody is. I'm 37, right? I'm not old, but I'm not young either. I got a lot of experience, right? Back in the day, you get your shit, you get involved in somebody else's shit, you might get punched.
Well. Yeah, it's not going to end well. Yeah, stay out of other people's shit. Just enjoy life for yourself and keep moving forward as much as you can. Enjoy
the biz. If you have an opportunity to see someone, smoke with them. People forget smoking hookah is a social thing.
Yes.
It wasn't designed for people to smoke at home and by themselves and that's it. It was designed to sit around a table, talk to people, right? Play some backgammon, have some tea, have some food, share stories and share laughs. That's what I'm excited about. I'm not going to be there this year for the brands, although I'm excited to see some of the brands. I'm going to be there this year for the people. I'm excited to meet people, you two especially. definitely looking forward to hanging out.
Thank you so much for that amazing, non-long-winded ending. You told me you were not a rambler, and we all needed to believe you when you said that, it turns out.
I'm a rambler.
All right. Well, thank you so much, David. I can't tell you thank you enough, obviously, but we're going to go ahead and move back over to the live version of the show. So thank
All
you
right.
for the episode.
Thank you guys so much. If I have a chance at work to catch you guys when you're live, I'll be typing in and commenting if I can. If not, I'll catch the replay for sure.
Okay. Well, there it is. There's the interview that we had with David. That was super fun and exciting. It was a little different, a little weird to have me and Adrian sit back and kind of enjoy the show with you guys. How did you like that, Adrian?
That was weird.
Right? It was a little weird. What did
That
you
was
guys
fucking strange.
What did you guys think about that in the chat? What was your guys' opinions on it? Would you like to see more produced content for the actual show, more produced interviews for the show and stuff like that? Because there's lots of people, me and Adrian have talked to people in the past where we want to get them on the show, but our time frames don't always work out perfectly like we want them to. So there's always kind of that issue where, we don't know exactly what to do. So maybe we can do this more often. What do you think, Adrian?
Yeah, I actually like this quite a lot. There's something about the produce, live is where we're at. That's kind of what we do here. But having this type of produced content where we can kind of just like uninterrupted talk to someone for an hour like that is really neat. And I think that we should probably get the raw interview that we just showed, probably re-uploaded on this channel, maybe even on mine and yours, just so people can like go look at it, because I think that's pretty cool. And I would like to watch that again, just because I like listening to David talk about sexual tension.
It was this was our sexiest episode. We talked about hot pockets. We talked about sucking on the end of the hookah, and I think this was definitely the sexiest episode that we've ever had for sure. It was pretty fantastic. Thank you guys so much for watching and being a part of it as always. While we have a little bit more time, I think we should talk about next week a little bit. Talk about the exciting things.
Next week is going to be This is stressful, right? Because next week we are going into the last episode of the season, and this season's actually technically going to be cut 2 episodes short of what we normally do. And this is going to be the new form, so we have time to prepare between seasons, because there's going to be more new cool fucking shit coming out on this channel, and we need time to make all that happen. Stuff we haven't even been able to talk about yet. So what the Drunkcast actually is for us now is just like a celebration for the vacation we're going on, but really we're just going to be still working on shit.
Yes.
But yeah, so we talked about giveaways and everything. We talked about getting blasted drunk. Is there anything we missed?
I mean, I just want to make sure that if you're able to, obviously share the episode with your friends and your family and all that kind of stuff, because the more likes we get is going to contribute directly towards us drinking, and it's going to contribute also to us getting those prizes out. Like, the quicker we get likes, the more phone calls we're going to take, the more prize boxes that we're going to be giving out. Like, I don't want to give away too much details, but what's going to happen is you're going to get the opportunity to kind of pick your prize. And the prizes, as we've talked about, Derek Moses is going to give away this beautiful handle and some keychains. We're also going to have some Azor to give away. Look at this cola right here. This cola could be yours. What about this right here? Check this out. This Royal Raspberry could be yours. Those are prizes that we have right here ready to go out to you guys. And we have multiples of both of these. So you guys are going to have the opportunity to win those. And it's going to be real simple. You're going to be able to call in. You're going to be able to pick should I go into the details? Should I go into what they're going to be able to do? No? What do you think? No? Bracken is telling me no.
Let's keep it on the DL a little bit. I mean, they only got to wait a week, right?
Only a week.
After this is over, I'm interested to hear what you guys think about the way we're doing this giveaway, because you remember last season, Matt, we did a giveaway of comparable size, except for it was a one and done. One person got all of it. This one, we have a very similar giveaway, I guess, in monetary value, but it's going to be split up amongst 12 to 15 people, which I think is a really cool way to do it. But obviously, no one's walking away with just like a ridiculous $400 fucking grand prize. So definitely let us know what you prefer, because honestly, it doesn't make a huge difference to us. We're interested in doing this so you guys can be happy.
Yeah, we just want to give away stuff. This is one of the more exciting things that we get to do with this sort of show, right? We have a platform that we're able to use for a lot of really fun things, for interviews, for talking about important matters and stuff like that. But like being able to like give stuff away, I think is absolutely fantastic. And all of you listening, watching, hanging out with us right now, like you're the reason we're able to do this sort of stuff. Because without you watching and commenting and being a part of the show, like we wouldn't be able to do this sort of stuff. So like it's all because of the awesome following that we've built up through the AM Hookah podcast that we're able to do this. You know, come over to the Facebook group, especially just because we do so much other stuff there as well. Like I really try to keep it as active as possible, and you guys help out with that so very much. Post your setups on the AM Hookah group. We will post them on Instagram. We'll shout you out. Post your bowls, post your packs, post your setups that you have and stuff like that. I
Put that shit on the show. We'll do it live here, baby. Matt'll cover my face up with your setup.
We've done it. We love posting those different setups and judging them. Adrian loves judging. It's one of his favorite pastimes to do, right? All right. Well, Adrian, I think we've been doing this long enough. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. If the stalkers want to find you, Adrian, where can they find you?
You like hookah reviews, unboxing tutorials, educational or maybe not so educational videos based around hookah? Pipe Dream Hookah, youtube.com, or just here at AM Hookah. It's up to you. Want to find me on Instagram or Twitter? It's _the dash, but the one that goes down under the letters, Pipe Dream. And if you want to find me on Facebook, Matt. Where can we find you?
You can find me all over the internet as well. You can find me on Twitter at OnlyMattDezen. You can find me on Instagram at OnlyMattDezen. You can find me on Facebook by looking at my face and typing in the words Matt Dezen. You can also find the podcast all over the internet as well. You can find us at AM Hookah on Twitter, AM Hookah Podcast on Twitter, AM Hookah Podcast on Instagram. And then we also have a group and a page. Make sure to like the page and join the group. Lots of awesome stuff going on here, obviously.
Are you driving? Because you can find us on Spotify.
You can find us on Spotify.
Spotify. You can do it. I can do it right now.
Right now, do it right now. You can find us on iTunes.
Spotify.com.
You can find us on Google Play.
Spotify. You can see what I've been listening to. You type in the little AM Hookah, and it's probably that one single by what's his name, Tyga.
Hookah, the hookah, the hookah, the hookah. Go past the hookah. Pass the hookah. Ooh, Adrian, could we do karaoke on the Drunk Cast and we could both do the hookah song?
Absolutely. No. Well, talk to me after I've had something to drink. Look at that. You see that little bubble right there? That's the top secret AM Hookah chat.
Shh, quiet.
That should be a prize. Let someone in there for it. See what the fuck we get up to.
Ooh, Bracken's scared. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for participating. Make sure to share the podcast with your friends. Make sure to let others know what it is that we're doing. And we'll see you next week on Monday to get drunk. We're going to be doing the Gamecast, obviously, this week. We probably won't do it next week, but we'll do it this week. I'll be on the Gamecast. Adrian, you're going to be doing technical difficulties this week?
Technical difficulties is coming up this week. I'm going to spoil it just a little bit.
Ooh.
I'm going to be talking a little bit more about some raw tobacco. I recently came into contact with one of the guys who's distributing it here in Michigan, and one of the guys who is responsible for the brand. And I've been impressed with some flavors they have out. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. Also, merch.
Yes. Don't forget.
I've got the blacked out merch.
Oh, okay. That's very meta of you.
Very meta.
Very meta.
You, on the other hand, are just not edgy.
No, I'm not edgy at all. I just got the AM Hookah merch. You can find us over at Teespring. We're going to probably give something away on the Drunkcast as well. And then don't forget, if you guys have 1,000 bowls, you can drop those 1,000 bowls and get a free ship code for a one-time use. Justin was able to do that. So if you guys have 1,000 bowls, you want to use 1,000 bowls, you can get a free shipping code, one-time use for you as well. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for participating and being a part of the show and everything. We love you guys. And until next week, stay sober because you're going to need to. And as David would say, just
suck on it.
Just suck on it. Bye.